Good morning, everybody. I'd like to talk a little bit about a few subjects, one of them being women's rights, and actually just rights in general for all women living in a patriarchal society like we live in. I feel that the 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote, but it didn't actually give us our rights. So in this day and age, there's a lot of turmoil. And I feel like a lot of people are blaming Caucasians for this. And that's just, you guys, that's just so unfair. That's like me blaming you for being born with the traits that you have in your features. I was born a blue-eyed blonde. So these are my pictures when I was little. I wanted to show people. That's what I looked like when I was a little girl. And you know what? I can't help the features I was born with. Just like you can't help the features that you were born with. So if you're implying that, I have rights as a woman, it's not fair. Women are very objectified right now. Especially with the Me Too movement, women are starting to demand their rights for their mistreatment. Men treat them as sex objects. They're just something for their pleasure, be used for their pleasure. And they don't appreciate our intellect. Like when, an example I have is even the most powerful women in our society, they're still treated as second-class citizens. Like when Hillary Clinton was running for president, someone said, well, I'm not going to vote for her because she's not hot. I'm like, she doesn't need to be hot. She's your president. So have some respect for her. It's not fair to prejudge people on something like that. So let me see, I've got some talking points here. There's also some income and wage disparities in our society, and I think a lot of people think it has to do with white privilege. And I assure you, as a white woman, they are not sharing that money with me. They say that there's 3 CEOs in particular that are holding, well, about half of the U.S. population's wealth. Bill Gates is reported to have made $90 billion, the Microsoft king. And then there was Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He was reported $95 billion. And Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, around $86 billion. So that's equivalent to 178 million workers' wages. So yeah, huge wage disparity. And there's a lot of I don't think that a lot of the different races realize that there's a lot of poor white people too. We don't have the privilege that people think that we have, especially as a woman. If you think that these powerful men are going to share their white privilege with me, that is not going to happen. And I was watching one video, and, I'm a targeted individual as well. And I've been treated poorly by, their gang members. But I believe that they're white supremacists. And, they're treating me very poorly. They curse at me and everything. So I'm watching this one lady's video, and one of her friends said that she didn't think any white people were gang stalked. And I thought, are you kidding me? That is so racist to say that. And I think the whole problem, one of the problems that we're having with race issues is that everyone needs to recognize their part. And I don't think that the African American community is recognizing their part, which is, you guys can be prejudiced too. I don't think you realize that when you put everybody into one group and you prejudge someone based on the characteristics that they're born with, that's what prejudice is. It's to prejudge someone based on the color of their skin. And my skin is white. So if you're judging me based on that, that's what prejudice is. And the Lord wants us all to be of one accord. He tells us not to be judgmental of our sisters and brothers. So if somebody is treating poorly because of the color of your skin, then that's wrong and that's very evil and wicked. And they shouldn't be doing that. The Lord says that we're all the same. And I saw this National Geographic special one time, and it talked about this land bridge that people from China crossed over into North America. And, that's why a lot of the Native Americans have some of their features on their eyes, or the close proximity. Anyway, I thought that was really exciting, that we could all be connected in some way. That I could have, some black ancestry, or I could have some Asian ancestry, Native American. That's just kind of exciting to more think that we have more in common than we're different. So anyway, and I think the issue with the police is an issue of power. I think, I've had experienced police brutality. They came into my house and took me out of a house that I owned in handcuffs and threw me on the ground. And this was also a local sheriff, as well as an Oregon State patrolman, held my wrist, held me down on the ground. But, I couldn't say, hey, you're being cruel to me because I'm white. I don't have that card in my deck. And so I hope I'm not offending anyone by that. But see, consider how offensive that is to me when somebody is accusing me of having white privilege and blaming this issue on all Caucasians. It's just not fair, guys. It's just not fair. There's good white people, there's good black people, there's good Hispanic people, there's good Asian people, and there's also a lot of terrible people. Like I said, who's after me? White supremacists. And yes, I'm white. And I also have had some, I'm trying to think of the name of it. I've just lost my train of thought. But anyway, it's not fair to lump all people into one group. We're all unique, and we all have more in common than we have differences. So we all need to come together, especially as women, and say, you know what, we're demanding our rights. Because at this time, we still have not, this is the last frontier, is women's rights. And when I was in college, I took this class, A History of Women in America. And it's very good. It's an early 80s course, but, it's still applicable today. And it's basically just, people want to be treated with respect. So let me see if there's anything more I have. But yeah, I think that the issue right now with this George Floyd thing is there's a lot of Caucasians that are standing united. We all saw the same thing, guys. This man was murdered. And I don't think it had as much to do with, I think that they just have too much power. When these two policemen took me out of my house, a house that I owned, in handcuffs, I was very angry, and I just said, you know what? They've got too much power, and they need to be brought down a couple of pegs. Because everyone needs to be treated with respect and dignity. Everyone. Women need to be treated with respect. White women, black women, Asian women, black men need to be treated with respect and dignity. They're human beings, just like anybody. We're all the same, guys. So we needed to get it together. I'm hoping that this has helped somebody. I'm hoping to get some dialogue going on this. But I hope I didn't offend anybody. But honestly, I don't think this issue can be solved as long as people don't take personal responsibility. I have prejudice. We all have prejudice. Every single race has prejudice. We all prejudge someone based on their features. A lot of people blame us for being Eurocentric, our features. They blame us for being born with our nose the way it is and our blue eyes. And That's not my fault. This is how I was born, guys. Just like you can't help what the features that you were born with. People are blaming us that Michael Jackson changed his nose. That pisses me off really bad, guys. He was a beautiful child. I liked him as a black child. So when he changed his nose, you guys, that's not on me. Do not blame me for that kind of stuff. I do not appreciate it. So anyway, I think that people need to recognize that we all have prejudice. And we all want the same thing, to be treated with respect. And we don't want some power-hungry pigs coming in our environments and brutalizing us and beating us up and putting their knee on your neck. It's police, there needs to be some retraining done. They possibly need to go back to the academy and learn how to treat people as individuals. So anyway, that's my speech there. Anyway, best wishes, everybody.